Phase 2, content, credibility, and IP development. Maybe I actually do know what I'm talking about. This is where all that identity work starts paying off because Larry's been getting some evidence that maybe, just maybe, you can figure this out. And more importantly, you've found tools that help you quiet him down. In this phase, you're not just posting content hoping something sticks, you're building your body of work from a place of growing confidence, not desperate proving. But here's where the real magic starts to happen. IP development, intellectual property. This is where you start creating your voice, your ideas, your thought work. You're teaching and coaching what you know in your own unique way. You're developing frameworks and methods that are uniquely yours, what I call ungooglable content because it comes straight from your brain and your experience. This is huge for identity shifting. When Larry tries to whisper, everybody knows that already, you can confidently respond, not the way I teach it. Your frameworks become proof that you're not just another coach regurgitating the same advice. You're a thought leader with your own intellectual property. What's actually happening in this phase? You're starting to create content that showcases your unique perspective because you finally believe you have one and you believe in yourself. You're developing your own methodology without second guessing every word or needing to copy others. You're building credibility through consistent, valuable insights that you actually trust are valuable. You're starting to test your message with real people because you're curious, not terrified. You're developing your intellectual property and proprietary frameworks. You're creating ungooglable content that only you can teach because it's yours. And you're building your business resilience and mental muscle as you own your expertise. Here's a real world example. Take Tom, a business strategist I worked with. In month 2, he'd write a LinkedIn post, read it 3 times, then delete it. This sounds stupid, Larry would whisper. Everybody already knows this stuff. But by month 6, Tom was publishing weekly insights about scaling service businesses, the same insights he was deleting before, just packaged in his own frameworks, his own words. People started commenting, "This is exactly what I needed to hear. Can you help my team with this?" Same insights, different level of confidence in sharing them. Here's what overnight success programs get wrong. They're so obsessed with your posting schedule. They never help you figure out what you actually have to say. It's like teaching someone to use a megaphone without checking if they have anything worth amplifying. They assume you already believe in your expertise. So when you freeze up writing that first post or recording your first audio or video, they tell you, well, just do it anyway, instead of addressing why your brain is short-circuiting. But here's the deeper issue. They are obsessed with volume over value. Post every day, they scream, without considering the posting generic content from a place of desperation actually damages your credibility. Here's what they get backwards. They focus on tactics, what to post, when to post, which hashtags to use, instead of identity, who you're becoming through the process of creating. They treat content creation like a mechanical process when it's actually an identity shifting practice. They also miss the biggest opportunity of this phase, IP development. Instead of helping you discover your unique frameworks and methods, they give you templates and swiped copy. They're essentially teaching you to be a better copycat when what you need to become is an original thinker. Here's the brutal irony that those templates and swipe copy that feel like lifelines, they're actually anchors dragging you down. Every time you copy someone else's success formula, you move further away from discovering what will actually work for you. And Larry's voice just gets louder and louder and louder. It's like trying to become a celebrity chef, but only following other people's recipes. Sure, you might make some decent meals, but you'll never be the one people seek out. The templates keep you playing small. Your own frameworks make you irreplaceable. What success looks like in this phase. You stop deleting posts before you publish them and start publishing consistently, building a content library that showcases your expertise over time. People start referencing your specific frameworks and methods in conversations. You begin to think, I might actually be good at this, instead of, I hope nobody finds out I'm faking it. Your content library becomes your best salesperson, working 24/7 to build certainty and trust with ideal clients. Larry, stop saying, everyone knows this, because your frameworks are genuinely yours, and you have months of consistent content proving your expertise. Are you starting to see how experience could become your signature frameworks? If Larry's whispering, but what if I don't actually have anything unique to offer? Then that's exactly why we should talk. Now, here's what's crazy. Tom thought he was done. He had the confidence, he had the content, he even had people engaging. But then he realized something that changed everything about how he approached his business. Phase 3, audience and authority. How do I become the obvious choice for my ideal clients? You've been building your intellectual property and getting comfortable with your expertise, but there's a question that starts bubbling up around month 6. How do I make sure I'm in front of the right people? Think about it like this. Phase 2 was all about finding your voice. Phase 3 is all about making sure the right people hear it. The content creation skills you built are now the foundation for strategic visibility. By now, Larry's voice has gotten quieter. Not gone, just quieter. And you're operating from a place of genuine confidence rather than that fake it till you make it energy. What's really happening here? Growing an audience of people who actually need what you offer. Executing strategic visibility to keep your list growing. Building relationships, not just follower counts. Establishing yourself as a trusted voice in your space. Creating systems for nurturing relationships over time. Expanding your intellectual property even further. And building unshakable self-trust in your ability to execute. Here's a real-world example. Let me tell you about Maria, a career coach who was about ready to throw in the towel at month 7. Her LinkedIn posts were getting maybe 3 likes, 2 from her mum and 1 from that guy who likes everything. But then something clicked. Instead of just posting into the void, she started showing up where her people actually hung out. HR LinkedIn groups became her second home. She was commenting thoughtfully on other career coaches' posts, not just dropping fire emojis. She pitched herself for virtual networking events and actually said yes when opportunities come up. By month 8, the shift was obvious. Instead of cricket sounds on her posts, she was getting comments like, "This is exactly what I needed to hear today." By month 12, Maria faced a problem most entrepreneurs would love to have: too much demand. But here's what surprised her, and what surprises most who make it to phase 4: the selling part. It barely felt like selling at all. Same knowledge, now with strategic execution and intentional visibility. Want to know the dirty little secret about most audience building programs? They teach you to be a content creation machine instead of a relationship building human. They measure success by follower count, instead of conversational quality. Here's the uncomfortable truth. 1,000 people who actually trust you will always beat 10,000 who scroll past your content without a second thought. The real problem? They hand you a strategy and wave bye. No systems for tracking what's working, no process for improving what isn't, and you're essentially flying a plane without instruments, repeating the same mistakes over and over. Think about it. Would you send a pilot out without instruments? Of course not. But that's exactly what most of these programs do when it comes to audience building. The successful entrepreneurs, they have a process for reviewing what worked, what didn't, and why. They treat every interaction as a learning opportunity, not just a one-off attempt. So what does success look like in this phase? Your ideal clients will actually start reaching out to you because of your strategic visibility efforts. They found you in that group you've been actively participating in or heard you on that podcast you pitch yourself for. People will start referring others to you naturally because you've been intentionally building relationships, not just posting content. You're getting invited to speak, guest on podcasts, or collaborate with peers because you've been showing up consistently in your industry. You have a clear process for analyzing what content performs best and why. You're not just hoping, you're tracking and improving. And here's where it gets truly interesting. And this is where most people's brains can start to spin a little. They think audience building means posting more content. Wrong. Phase 3 is actually about posting less content, but being more strategic about where you show up. But when that happens, and when you do get strategic and you do start to measure results, guess what? It starts paying off. And that's where phase 4 starts to get really exciting.